Well, hey, friends. Welcome to another episode of the Medicine Revive podcast and blog. Welcome back to another episode of Ask Me Thursdays. And welcome back. Welcome back to what I hope to be another great show. It's been a wonderful week and a busy week, and I hope it's been a very good and successful week for you. But today we're going to be talking about how to rise to the occasion in medicine because, friends, as nurses and physicians, we are high achievers. We're goal-oriented. That's our nature. And especially if you've come to look at my website and hear my podcast, you are of that, cut from that cloth for sure. And many of us feel that when the situation arises, we're going to instinctively rise to the occasion. And friends, that's simply not the case. Many of us don't take on that challenge, not for lack of want. Hear me clearly. It's not for lack of want. It's many times for lack of skills or lack of how do we do that? So ask yourself, think of some great leaders who have risen to the occasion. There are many of these examples inside and outside of medicine, especially during our current pandemic. There are so many leaders that we can look to, and what is it that they've done that they've risen to the occasion that separates them from the average? And that's what we're going to be talking about today, is how to rise to the occasion, especially in medicine. Well, friends, I think the first thing that we have to appreciate and the first step toward that is be humble. There's a lot of ego in medicine, and I understand that, but be humble enough to know that you may not know what the next step will be. And that's okay. Be humble enough to know that I'm still working. We are all unfinished masterpieces. Be humble enough to know that and accept that and know that there's always an opportunity to learn and to grow. That's what I've always strived for you and for me. And I always say, as long as you're trying to get yourself 1% better, are you 1% better today as you compared to yesterday? If you are, then you're on the right road. If not, if you're stagnating, well, then there's an opportunity there for you to rise to the occasion and take on the challenges that are ahead of you. That's a great opportunity for you there. So take some self-reflection, but I think it's so very important if you're interested in taking yourself to the next level personally and professionally. Number two, the next thing I would say is another opportunity for you to rise to the occasion is take action, right? When you have the choice of action versus inaction, I will always choose action. And I know that I'll stumble sometimes, and that's okay. In fact, that's better than okay. I want you to take action on trying to learn more and be more than what you can for yourself. That's the key. I know sometimes when we have a critical patient, we sometimes get paralysis because we're just so overwhelmed with what's in front of us that we sometimes favor inaction, which is the worst thing you can do. I've said this many times on my podcast, and for some of our newer listeners, I'll tell this story again. When I was an intern many years ago, I was on the liver renal service. In fact, that was my first month on the July service, was on the liver renal service, which is a very, very sick patient population. And I remember as an intern, I was on the overnight, and I remember I was struggling with even decisions on giving Tylenol to a patient. And I remember my attending in the morning saying, Harry, you have to choose action. That's far better than inaction, Harry. It is far worse than not doing anything. And that's always stayed with me since that time, is choose action. Which leads me to the third point, is you're not going to know all the answers, and that's okay. That is phenomenal. I'm glad you don't know the answers, because there's an opportunity for you to grow. Once you have that mindset that you know all the answers, you're in trouble and your patients are in trouble. But more importantly, you're in trouble and your family's in trouble, because we don't have all the answers. We're constantly learning. We're constantly trying to learn, grow, and thrive in medicine. So take that opportunity to learn. Answer the questions that you have, right? If you come across an interesting case, learn more about it. You're going to continue to learn. And in doing so, you're going to rise to the occasion. When that thing comes up again, which it will, when you have a colleague or nurse who has a question about a patient, or has a question about, well, hey, I've not seen this before, that's a great opportunity for you to help to set yourself apart from the group and rise to the occasion. And the final thing I'm going to tell you is keep going. Keep that momentum going. The person who rises to the occasion accepts the stumbles that he or she's going to encounter, but he keeps going. Winston Churchill says it best in one of his many speeches, but one of the things that I always remember of Winston Churchill is, when you're going through hell, keep going. That's a wonderful quote. It's a wonderful quote for all of us to remember. Keep that momentum and keep going. And I'm going to leave you today with a podcast, or actually a YouTube video of Jocko Willink, who's a retired U.S. Navy SEAL, who has a podcast or a YouTube show called, or episode called Good. And it's a phenomenal episode, and it gets you in that right mindset, how to rise to the occasion and accept things that come to you and use those things as opportunities rather than opportunities to put your head down. Rise to the occasion, friends, and you'll be a better person for it personally and professionally. So that's all I have for you today, friends. I hope you have a wonderful week. And if you have any questions for me so I can answer on a future episode of Ask Me Thursdays, there's going to be a link in the show notes that accompany this podcast. Please do so and reach out to me, and I'm happy to answer it on one of my future shows. And if you're interested, if you enjoyed this episode, then please subscribe to the podcast and share it with a friend or a colleague, especially if you know that they're going to need it. But also, if you're interested in learning more and getting yourself on that path toward wellness for your personal and your professional life, then click on one of the links I have on my show notes, and I have a free 3-video series set up for you so you can begin starting that road to wellness. So until next time, be good to yourself and each other. We'll talk again soon. Bye-bye.